Mr. Lindani Njie.
My brother, what you saying?
Doing, I'm doing just. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, bro. Good to see you, man.
No, good to see you, bruh. Woo! I did not bring my glass of wine, bruh. I glass of wine. I did not bring my glass of wine.
Oh
So
man,
let me get started. You're a phenomenal young man. I tried as much as possible to put up like a like a little intro, like a some kind of an introduction right there, so people can have a clue as to who Mr. Lindani Njie is. If you can read it, please just go ahead and just sift it through that. But what's your biggest flex of 2021?
my biggest flex, as in
What are you proud of in 2021?
2020. And the year just started, bro.
Some
But
people
I,
are already billionaires. Some people are millionaires. Some people,
you're right. You're right. You're right. You know what? I am. I would say use your language. My flex is Voices of Victory, man. I'm excited to release a collective of poetry that
okay.
touches on so many different things that I think people will relate to.
Mhm.
So that's my number one flex. But I
Okay.
feel like I have other things coming down the line after the album. But let me be quiet for now. Let's stick with Voices of Victory, the poetry album coming out in March.
Okay, so that is coming in March. We eventually we'll get into that conversation very soon. Um, Today, I know, as you know yourself, as a leadership enthusiastic, you're a writer. You're equally a poet. You're a gentleman that loves to express themselves. So we might call you a motivational speaker and pretty much just empower people around you. Today, which achievement of yours are you most proud of out of all of these elements?
That's a very good question, bro. For me, achievement is not what is outside, it's what is inside. So my achievement, I look at it as who I have become.
Okay.
So I think my biggest achievement is being able to be in a mental state of reflection, having the ability to reflect and having the ability not to learn, but to know how to learn. And that comes with recognizing when I am on a path that is right and when I'm not on the right path, when I'm offending someone, when I'm passive aggressive. But for me, my
Yes.
biggest achievement is the mindset that I've developed over the years, the mindset of not giving up, the mindset of resilience, the mindset of where I come from has very little importance to where I'm going. That is my mindset. Do you
Okay.
see what I'm saying? So when I think of achievement, that is where I go because I know with that mindset, everything that's external is really there for me to take. Do you see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yes. So in terms of like you said, it's mostly based on the psyche. It's mind work.
Yeah.
It's creativity that entails all this different aspect has to do with how mentally prepared you are. Um, which of these, in terms of just leadership, which eventually I'll need you to pretty much just kind of expand on, but the art of writing and the art of creating art in terms of poetry. Now, which of these different elements still fascinates you?
The poetry definitely, because till this day, yesterday I was doing a listening. So me and my friend,
Yeah.
and his wife and my wife, we decided to go away for Valentine's. So and I was listening to the poem, the album. I was giving them, a chance to listen to it, and
Yeah.
they were, and for me, I listened to it, and it's like somebody else wrote it. Somebody else wrote that. For me, till this day, when I write poetry, I listen to it like somebody else did it. There's a part of me that's like, how did I come about with that? Where did that word come from? Um, my poetry fascinates me. And when I do it, my wife's like, it's you because you're talented. But my poetry fascinates me. I think that's one of the things that I'm really getting to know. It's funny, I'm using my poetry to get to know me more, but I'm also getting to know my poetry more. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes. Now, can anyone and everyone become a poet from your
Yeah,
perspective?
yeah, anybody can be. For me, being a poet is one of the things about being a poet is having the ability to want to connect with self. You have the desire to want to connect with self. You have to have the desire to want to look inside self. You have to have the desire to have the moments of silence that it requires to look inside self. You cannot be always carried away with noise and distraction. You cannot always be just running like you're on a bus and somebody else is driving it. Poetry is you getting on a bus and you driving it yourself. Poetry is the one way that you control your own destiny, you control your own emotions, control how you express those emotions. Poetry is one way you protect what you think. Poetry is one way you express how you think. Poetry is one way you connect with the world beyond your physical geographical boundaries. Poetry
Yeah.
is how you stay international. Poetry is how you stay relevant. So anybody can actually do that. It's one thing that nobody can control or take from you. So anybody can do it. But you have to get to that point where you say, I actually want to express myself in a poetic way. And then you go ahead and do it. The more you write it, the more you read it. It's a language of its own. The more you understand it and the more you express yourself in that lane.
Wow. Okay. Not many. I've never really had to to look at it in so much detail. It's as people will somewhat take that for granted. This is a powerful tool. Just like this is you taking ownership of yourself, of your narrative. Like we always say, especially as Black people, this is the time when we are meant to take, take charge of our narrative, especially in America right now with the Black History Month. um just going back a little bit, childhood, you grew up in Gambia, and from you're currently with like Mr. Easy, from Accra to Lagos. Now Whiskey from Lagos to London. Now, so you from Banjul to London, or from Gambia to the UK after high school. Do you was that an advantageous, or was that like a privilege, or is that something you feel that you're grateful for?
I would have never been the same if I was in the Gambia.
Okay.
When I come to Gambia, I still feel like I am not home. That's the
Hmm.
sad thing about it. And I'll explain why I say so before people start to trip off.
Right.
Home is where you discover your talents and your true gifts. If an environment stops you from discovering who you really are and what you're really capable of doing, then it's not home.
Interesting.
So for me, I see myself as a global citizen. I don't remember who actually said that. Was it Maya Angelou? That's when till you see yourself as a global citizen, that's when you really feel free.
Hmm.
So if I was in Gambia, I wrote my first poem when I was in year 10. I
Yes.
wrote it, I gave it to my vice principal. He read it, he never posted it like he said he was going to do it. That was the first time I ever wrote a poem. I will never forget, in my electricity class in year 10 with a friend of mine, Kevin. He never
Hmm.
posted it. I came to England and I got into a debate with someone about using the N word, and I just got frustrated, went into the library and I wrote my first poem. The poem was called Democracy. I
Yes.
still remember some lines from that poem. I started writing poems because somebody read that poem in the UK and said, "Wow, you're gifted." And since then, I've been writing poems for the last 13 years. If I was in Gambia, my understanding of the world would not be the same because when I was in Gambia, I understood nothing outside of me. I had very little understanding of what was around me. When I was in the Gambia, I had little understanding of what I deserved as a citizen of the world. Someone said to me one time that if God asked you to tell him what you want and you've never seen a car, would you ask him for a car?
Of course not.
Exactly. So for me, being in the UK allowed me to have access to the globe. It allowed me to dream. It allowed me to see things I couldn't see being in the Gambia. So
Okay.
for yeah, but yeah, that's basically
Now,
it.
because I feel like you have just opened a can of, I wouldn't say a can of worms, but this is now a, a perception that not many people actually have. The fact that the more you are outside your normal circle, that little bubble that that comfort zone, as we call it,
Comfort zone.
it prohibits you from just getting challenged.
Yeah.
And could there be a difference if young people, for example, in the Gambia, had the chance to somewhat have like a year experience, like after high school, after school, just move somewhere, just different, somewhere completely different to just to experience and
I, I,
expand
I,
it.
now you have social media, so people are being exposed to what's outside of what they physically see, so that helps.
Okay.
That really makes a big difference because now you can see what's outside Lamin, Serekunda, Banjul. You can go on Facebook and you can see things, and you can be in Danny Constance live, and you can have a you can be exposed to a discussion. So
Yes.
right now it's a lot easier to be global, even if you're in Gambia. Now the issue is you have to know to find something, you need to know what you're looking for.
True.
If I was in Gambia, would I be looking for the things I'm looking for now on social media? Maybe not. Because when I was in Gambia, I was looking for 50 Cent. Is 50 Cent really what I need to be looking at if I'm trying to develop as a Gambian? No. Who is 50 Cent in the Western world? Where is he ranked outside money? You see what I'm saying? Will I be able to ask that question if I was in Gambia? If I see a rapper or somebody flossing a Cadillac, right? What questions would I be asking? Being living outside the Gambia physically allowed me to ask the right question. But most importantly, when I came to the UK, I was lucky enough to be around certain people. When I came to the UK, the first thing this is what I'm going to say
Yes.
quickly. Growing up in Gambia, we don't read.
At all.
So one way you actually live in
Oh, but really, yes.
one way you actually the literacy rate in Gambia is very low. One of the ways you actually get to live in other places is by reading. But we don't have a culture of reading. In fact, it's so bad that we don't only have a culture of reading, we have a culture that discourages reading. And tell me how. Because learning is a fair tool, it's not an empowerment tool. Going to school, I hated going to school. So till this day, when I meet Gambians, so I have a book for you, they don't read it. You know why? Because it brings back memories of the terrorism they experienced going to school, when school really should be a place of freedom and elevation, self-discovery. So there's a psychological trauma that most Africans have experienced going to school. So not only are they not reading, they are being trained and programmed not to like to read. So till I came to the UK, one of my friends, Carl, never forget, he's in Brazil now. We came from basketball. You know me in basketball. Came back from basketball one time and he started talking about Robert Kiyosaki, Poor Dad, Rich Dad. And he mentioned it. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of him. He said, do you read? I said, no, I don't read. He said, if you don't read, it means you're missing out on actually learning somebody's 50 years experience in 1 week. When you read a book, you've learned somebody's whole life experience in 1 week. If you read it in a week, if you read it in a month, you've learned somebody's experience for 25 years in 1 month. And you're not reading it to pass an exam. You're reading it to challenge your thinking and expose your mind. There's a difference. There's a beauty. There's a joy that comes with that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I
Now,
speak up, go ahead. You gave me fire. Why are you asking me these good questions, bro?
no,
I was
so
just
so
drinking
let
my wine. I'm enjoying myself. You're here.
it's fine. No, because I feel the need. Like I said, it's like when I call this show Crude. I just did not randomly decide to say crude because I want us to have conversations that we will normally not have on a regular. Do you understand what I'm saying? The educational system in Africa, as a lot of people will claim it, is basically second to none. And this are curriculum that the colonial masters are pushing down on us. This is not us learning about ourselves and our cultures and all of that stuff. Like this is, if you check out government and literature and all of the material that we have in school, it's not from us. And like you mentioned earlier, it's programmed for to get us not to read. Is there a way for us to change that?
Yeah, there's a way you can change that, and one of the ways you can change that is having these discussions. And so create change starts with the first thing for change to happen. The first step towards change is reflection, and that's why I write poetry. Somebody has to reflect. Gambia, you can have year 12, 99% of year 12 failed exams. There's no review or reflection. In a country or in a continent where things just go ahead and muge just demrek, nen dem dohrek, nen just demrek. You fall down, you break your leg, then just damn break. Nobody takes a minute to say, hold on, let's pause. What happened? How did it happen? How can we change it? I am doing a role now as a leadership development officer. I work with the police.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day, in every single meeting, we're actually questioning the things we did the day before. How can it be better? Things happen. Things development literally comes from conversations and reflections. The question is, the culture does the culture question? Does the culture reflect? No, it doesn't. The culture's pride of knowledge is based on nakalenkodon defe won, sun chosan won, sun tradition won. Not nakalenko wala defe legi at what does the future require? So a culture that is not based on what elik lan la sohla. How do you develop? Development means progress. How do you progress into something when all you use is the tools of people that died 2,000 years ago? Our fathers and mothers don't even want to be on the phone, on Instagram. They don't understand technology. And they're 65 years old. But we're embracing culture of people that have lived 2,000 years before. So imagine, if they were here, they'd be like, Danny and Lynn, you guys are stupid. But no, we're still embracing that road. And when you don't hold that road, then you're Western. But development has nothing to do with being Western. Development actually has a lot to do with having conversation, being reflective, wanting more for self, and seeing that there's more that one could create for self.
There's a comment from Aisha, and she says, so sad that we get to unlock those tools, and it's sad that
Yeah.
this is not like it's not conducive enough. The environment does not make it easy for us to have deep reflections, and even if you begin to think a little bit outside the norm, there's a stigma attached to it.
Yeah, there's a stigma attached to it. I'll ask you a question. I'll tell you this, my experience growing up in Gambia. We have teachers that came to England to study. For me, this is one thing I always say. If you come to England to study and all you did was go to class and get the qualification, you're a problem. Because you need to understand the information you're learning, the journey it went through before you got it. How do you understand the journey it went through? It's by being part of the people. When you understand the people, then you understand how they create knowledge. When you understand how they create knowledge, then you can now really break down the knowledge and not just say 1 + 1 is 2, but you're asking yourself, how did they get to 1 + 1? And why did they get to 1 + 1? What is the experience to get to 1 + 1? Has somebody felt some kind of experience in the past that made them think 1 + 1? You start now thinking not just the information that's given to you, but you now start thinking the process and the creation of that information. When you start to understand the process and the creation of information, now you can create your own information from your own reflection. So you can have somebody come to England, get a degree in teaching, goes back to Gambia, and they're a principal. They have a school population where 90% of them are in extreme poverty. They don't even have food to buy $5 tapalapa agniebe. And they go outside to buy something for $1, and you punish them when they come back to school for why did they leave the building. That means you have no understanding that the people are living in extreme poverty, and at that point they need to be fed so they can effectively be students. And you studied in the UK and you don't understand that, bro, and you don't understand that. That tells you there's danger in putting cake on top of shit, because it will make you eat it, and by the time you realize it, you're already eating the shit. So if you are somebody that is already in a program locked state mindset and you come to England and you get education on top of that shit, you're dangerous, because on the outside it looks like you know what you're doing, but and then with that you get given access, but in reality you're dangerous because now you have power.
How's the working environment as a young educated black man working for the police system, especially in a in the colonial state? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, because having all this information is very powerful, but equally in the world in which we live in right now, it's either you are with us or you are against us. So it's a us versus them type of scenario that we have based on everything, just the life we live in right now. That's the thing. So the question is, how's your message perceived? You know, as a young man that's into leadership, you know, being outspoken with the education and the knowledge that you have, talking
Yeah.
to people, you know, elder than you, that somewhat feel like you're not supposed to be telling me this.
Yeah, so one of the things that I really appreciate about being in the UK is that age has nothing to do with wisdom, and age doesn't put you in the position where you are entitled to be respected. So in growing up in Gambia, you're entitled to be respected just because you man malamak, right?
Mhm.
So one thing I've learned is that being here is that just because the mamak millionaires, niggas, if we're in the same working environment, we're colleagues. So I get what you're saying. So how do I express myself like this in a working environment that is structured, that has culture, that is also rigid? People around the world don't like to change things, whether it's painful or whether it's beautiful. People like to stick to what they know. And it's
Yes.
across the UK, it's across my experience here is the same experience in the Gambia, right?
Hmm.
In the UK, they can get away with that because they have strong fundamentals in place that can always stress test things and make things better or make things run at least decently better, right?
Hmm.
Because they have something to work with. So for me, my thing as a coach is my responsibility as a leadership coach is not to tell people what to do. My responsibility as a coach is to make people reflect on what they can do.
Can you say that again?
So my responsibility as a coach is not to tell people what to do. My responsibility as a coach is to guide people into reflecting into what they can do. They decide that. They reflect on that. That decision comes from their own reflections. My job as a leadership coach is to take you through a journey of reflections. Because if you crack an egg, what does that mean? That means the chicken is dead. That's why you can
Yes.
fry it. If
Yeah.
the egg cracks itself, it means the chicken is alive. I'm not in the business of cracking eggs. I'm in the business of people cracking their own eggs so they can stay alive. The educational system in the Gambia is a business of cracking eggs. It's not in the business of people cracking their own eggs. That's why mula dur, mula saga, teacher did treat come your door dara. If they were in the business of you cracking your own egg, then it's a process of asking a question in class is actually seen as normal because asking a question is one of the ways you actually crack your own egg. Getting your own answers is actually how you crack your own egg. Just because you don't remember 2 times 2 is 4 doesn't mean they didn't know what to do, they didn't know what to saga, they didn't know what to humiliate. Smiling, for a teacher to smile in Gambia is even a problem, bro. Smiling is good for the health. Science teachers don't even smile and they teach the science. So a culture like that, that's not reflective. That's not asking why are students failing. Bro, you ask me that question again, I am very happy I am in the UK. Because if I was not in the UK, it will be a different Lindani. That's a sad reality that I, as an African, have to leave the African continent so I can discover my truest self and my gifts. But if you look at colonization, the end of colonization and the fight for independence, the likes of Kwame Nkrumah was actually outside Ghana for him to think, oh shit, these white people are out here working freely. Oh, we deserve it, and went back home. There's an element of leaving your home and coming back. It gives you a different perspective. It makes you see if your house is clean or not. If you're always in your house, you don't know how dirty and clean your house is.
Of course not. Um, I'm going to ask you this before I get into a little fun segment. We have a segment we call how.
Because this might be too serious for your audience. I don't know.
It's not
It's
even
it's
like.
Valentine's. It's Valentine's.
No, it's not. Look, we'll certainly get. We'll certainly get to. We'll get to that. We'll certainly get to that part of things. But today we're celebrating love, and I love the perspective that you're bringing to just stimulate people's mind. A lot of us have, like you mentioned earlier, have the we have this perception, this belief that yes, let's just move on. Let's just keep just keep moving. Just let's just keep going. But the reflection of self of scenarios and situations of everything that happens around you is important in order for you to not repeat the same mistakes, because at the end of the day it certainly happens. You got married not long ago.
Yeah.
How
I,
did
I
you?
surprised the whole world, but go ahead.
I know. let me ask you before I get into the how gambling are you segment. How did you woo her, bro?
Um, I didn't try to. I literally just was being myself. I met my wife at Carnival.
Wow.
I don't even go Carnival. I went Carnival because a bunch of friends of mine, some came from the US and said they wanted to go Carnival. So I said, okay, cool, I'll host you. I'll go with you Carnival. Got some of my boys that I know they go every year and we went Carnival. That's where I
Hmm.
met my wife. I went to Carnival and I literally got there late. We went late. Don't go Carnival with Ghanaians, by the way. We,
You
we
always
we
always be
we went
late.
late. We went late, bro. We went late and we got there about five something and she was leaving. Luckily, one
Yes.
of my friends actually knows her and knows one of our friends. So they met, hi, 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 hi. And my wife was literally behind the group. So she just came and we saw each other and we just started talking. And it felt like there was no carnival. It felt like a silent romantic room. It felt like it was just me and her in this space. I knew I was gonna marry her the first day I met her right there. I told my boy, my cousin Pierre, I said, Kida makotaka.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you feel you know, most people talk about it takes time for you to know someone, and there's barely an acceptance in the idea that you could pretty much just know, you could know what you want right there and then.
Yeah. Yeah, you can know what you want. I mean, you know what you want if you reflect on what you want. There's a time element involved with everything. Now, right now, as I'm talking to you, it's time, right? So time is always there, regardless. You can't pause it. So there's time. However, when people say, to say nit wala so hame nit tole neke danga wala deka mo 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, punget hamante. I'm 31, I'm still trying to know me. If I'm 31, I'm still trying to know me. What makes me think, ne, 2 years, 5 years is enough for me to know somebody else, but I might decide I'm gonna marry them. That don't make any sense. It's either somebody connects with you or they don't connect with you. It's either you're
True.
clear on what you want or you're not clear on what you want. It's as simple as that. And the thing is, you can't win two. You can't have both. You have to choose which side. Do you want to be single? Do you want to build a home? Do you
True.
want to have children that can be like, that's my father and that's my mother? This is the legacy they've left behind. My journey in the last couple of years has really been about legacy. What you're doing, Danny, is legacy. You're running these programs live. You're running legacy. Your kid is going to grow up seeing father has left a legacy. Your kid is going to follow that footstep. You're basically creating a new set of genes. It's that serious. If you want to be average and just chilling, hanging out, wow, money had enough, all right, and you want to live that life, oh, bro, I'm gonna this guy, if that's the life you want to live, that's you. I'm about
True.
living legacy. You know why? Because my friend died. I realized one of my friends, Daniel Mendy, died I found out he died 3 days ago. I never knew he's here. He used to say to me, bro, always, bro, make sure them game that's not over solar. That's the only thing I remember. I've been reflecting on the last 3 days. Bro, he's 33. He just died. Apparently, it's COVID. I didn't even know that he died since January, bro. I didn't come to this planet to just hang around. I'm not a bird. I'm not a sheep or a cow to be lined up in Tesco or Kroger. I came here for a purpose. I came here for a reason. The reason why I'm so big on leadership is because my leadership is about taking people on a journey to reflect on who they actually are and so they can discover who they actually can become. Because everybody came here to do some serious shit. So for
True.
me, getting married and building a home, it's not just me because I'm Jabatil or Torring. So it's deeper than that. So you're getting me fired up, bro.
Damn.
It's
I
Valentine's. You're getting it's
No, I like
Valentine's.
this. No, I like this. I like this. I like this. I like this. I really do. I really do. I think a lot more people need to hear a lot more people need to hear this. Guys, we're going to a quick fun segment just to spice it up, and when we come back, we'll basically talk about the project that he's coming. He has a new poem that was posted a few hours ago, potent, and we'll probably just maybe like I might play like a little extra extract of it as well. You could follow him. It's he has an amazing mind. All the little short clips that he posts to empower you every day just takes your mind out of it. If you have any question for Mr. Lindani, you can send that right there underneath, and we will certainly take our time to let me tell you a little funny story about Lindani. I had the chance to meet this young man in back at St. Peter's when we shared a school year in 2007. Yeah. 2006, 2005 ish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Lindani was one of those guys that come to school like they have pressed his shirts like Lindani's shirt never had wrinkles, like
I
never.
like to dress, bro. I like to dress.
Like his shirt never had wrinkles. That's see what I tell you. These are people that we used to look up to. In school, they called me Wizzy. I don't know for what reason. Pretty much because I had an American accent, and everyone would call me Wizzy. But Lindani was that smooth guy. In class, he just did not give a rat's ass.
I
This is
did it.
Lindani, the nice guy, the well-dressed guy that would be always kneeling down in front of principals.
I got punished every time because I've always been someone that challenged. I've always been reflective. I've always
Yes,
been someone that would, if we had an RE class and the father says something in the Bible that didn't make sense, I'll question it. Me and
yeah,
Horace Dalia got punished so many times just for questioning the teacher for saying something.
true.
That's how serious it is, bro. When you get punished for just saying something,
Damn, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
for asking a question,
Go and kneel
and
there in front of.
you kneel down for hours, you waste the time, you're not learning because you're in school to learn. You're not at school to get punished. You're at school to discover your true gift.
True.
So fundamentally, schooling in itself is flawed. Somebody had a statement saying colonization. There's a strong element of colonization involved. You know why? If you read a bit of history of colonization and how we were colonized, you realize the school system in Africa is basically a colonization plantation.
Yeah.
All of those principals and teachers, I love you, I respect you, because I know somebody also did that. The same thing you're doing to us and doing now, somebody did that to you. You're
Yes.
running. The beautiful thing about colonization, and I'm saying the word beautiful to be sarcastic, is that it's a system, it's an engine running. It has so much fuel and so much petrol that it doesn't need anybody to sit in it. So put on the engine, and you head principals and you masters and you people in power are just running the engine. You never ask yourself, hold on, is this engine polluting the environment or not? You're not asking that question. You're just running the engine. Colonization made sense. It had to stop. Really, it didn't stop, did it? Because the system is still running by the people themselves that were colonized, because the people that were colonized are still in the bubble. They still haven't waken up. Door Halles is school because they understand a question. Nit like the question. If somebody asks me a question, that means they're paying attention. In Gambia, if somebody asks a question, that means you're stupid.
You get a slap for it. That's crazy though.
Do
That
you see how messed up this is, bro?
yeah, yeah.
And then
That's
you
why.
and then you wonder why you can't ask Jamie questions. You wonder why you can't ask your governor or your KMC mayor questions? You can't ask them questions because the school system, which is the most powerful system and structure to program people, has programmed people not to ask questions. So when you ask questions, you get punished. So what makes you think that who has how many thousands of military men and police officers? What makes you think that they question? Sa teacher only teach 50 students, mun call the question. Sa president the question. Ask yourself that. So don't worry about asking a president question. Go back to your school systems and ask your uncles and your fathers why we can't ask them questions. You fix that, you don't even have to worry about asking the president questions because you're going to be doing it anyways. And they will expect to be asked questions. You know why? Because they went to school and asking questions was normal. That's what we do.
Damn. Bro, let's get into this quick segment. We'll come back to it. Guys, if you're just joining us, this is Crude with Lindani Njie. I really appreciate all of you that are here today. Just put your question underneath there. When we come back, we'll get into we're certainly getting to the different basically we'll get into what you want to find out about him. But this is important. It's certainly important. And today we're celebrating love. This is a song that has been on my mind. Like I've played this song. I've I posted the song.
Please tag
Oh,
your wife.
yes. Tell my wife what.
Tag your wife. Tag your wife.
I tagged the song yesterday. It's a Gambian song, bro.
Okay, go ahead. Let me listen to
I did. But yeah, so how Gambian are you? This is the segment, guys.
it.
Bro, let me come and drill you small. Let me drill you small.
I mean, this is your race and
Breakfast in bed. Baby girl, you should come my way. You know, I want you every night and day. Baby girl, you know I want you now. Cause you they make me feel like up ecstasy, baby girl, you know. You they make my mind wild like baby girl, I make you put on. All I link my hand, man, and watch them up.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice tune. That's a nice tune.
One funny thing. One funny thing.
Yeah.
Gambian people, Gambian ladies are all complain. I mean, they basically all complain about how Gambian guys are not romantic. But I'm gonna tell you that every Gambian song where this voice expresses how romantic they can get, but they are not being like they don't like they can tell you how romantic they are, but they can't. But they will not. They wouldn't show you how romantic they are. Just what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand.
How Gambit are you? This is the segment. I have a few questions. So question number one.
Yeah.
Name. Okay, give us three Gambian songs
So,
that you know the tune, but you don't know the lyrics. Three Gambian songs you know that you know the tune,
Jesus.
the lyrics of the song. You can hum them if you want.
Bro, this is
Three,
not fair, bro. This is
three
not fair,
songs.
bro.
You know the
Listen,
tune
boy.
of the lyrics of the song.
Yeah, Gambian.
Yes. I
Bro,
can
you
give
should,
you 10. I can give you 10 seconds though.
bro. I remember artists, but I don't remember the songs.
Don't Not even the melody. You don't even remember the melody,
Not even the melody. Hey, but wait. Can it be Senegalese?
bro. Gambian song. How is Gambian Senegalese?
You're better than bro.
All right. The next question. Your go to Super Kanja or Domoda?
Boys, maja batu game muda toka yo inono bro. Chapan. But it will be done that.
Okay. Okay. Next question. Next question is, what's butterscotch made of?
Boy, don't even boy. What's it called? Condensed milk.
Mm.
But
Condensed
condensed milk, boy.
condensed milk and what?
Condensed milk like what? No, the condensed milk. Condensed milk. I don't like it, boy.
Okay. Okay. Condensed milk. It is. Okay. Next. It's okay. Next question. What's
What's what?
the Jamano? There's something called, like, I wouldn't tell you what it is, but if you're Gambian and you if you're Gambian, you should know what the Jamano is. You know the Jamano.
The meaning.
What is it? What is it? There was something that got that name.
Jamano.
There was something that got that name.
Jamano, boy, man, Jamano. How not mean? I'm not Jamano mean. I don't know.
There was it was by the Gamtel company. Someone is a story by the Gamtel company. It was an item that they were selling at the time. It was called Jamano. What was that?
Boy, boy, Limugenyo, they hold on.
It was big, bro.
Was it didn't have anything to do with mobile phones, no?
Why should I tell you? Am I supposed to tell you?
Jamano. Boy, I can remember an advert from Gap. You're right. But I don't remember the one, boy. Bali, boy, stop this. No problem. I'll get you.
How Gambian? So this is where we know all the people who are out here on the internet flexing. I'm Gambian. How this is where we question your authenticity. How Gambian are you? So you don't know. Next question: how old will Gambia be on the 18th of? How old will Gambia be on the 18th of February?
That's a good question, actually. Gambia should be 68.
Are you sure,
68?
bro?
Shit.
Are you sure?
I was trying to calculate. I was trying to calculate it. Gambia had independence in 1965.
Yeah.
Oh, if Gambia had independence in 1965, then Gambia should be no, not 67. Jesus Christ. 57, 56. Boy, Dimalema boy. Bali. Hey, Gambian lad.
Madam Njie, come and collect your husband.
Boy, sometimes I even forget when Gambian independence is, you know. I know it's the 18th, but it doesn't even hit my mind.
Oh my God, Madam
You
Njie.
set me up. You set me up. You should have asked me this. You should have sent me these questions before so I can do my research.
Well, that's why it's called How Gambia. I'm supposed to surprise you, but not tell you the question in advance.
Oh, 66, actually, 66.
1965 to 2021. Yes.
That should, if my math is correct, that should be 66, 67, 66, 67. If my math is wrong, just let me know.
It's 1965.
Oh, when 1965.
Yes.
50, 56, no? 50, 56. I have to go to my calculator to calculate that one.
Bro, Gambia will be 56 year. Yeah, it's 56.
Then that's it. I got it right then.
Yeah, you actually got it. I was trying to make sure that you knew what you were talking about.
You're making me doubt. I want to call my father and say, Dad, are you sure I'm Gambian?
But guys, Lindani Njie right here with us. Lindani Njie is joining us on Crude this afternoon, or pretty much.
Wow, Gambia is 50. Gambia is 56. How many?
No, you didn't say 56. So.
I said 56.
No, you said 66, bro.
No, I went back. I said, no, hold on. Because you know what I was doing to calculate? I was using my father's age. And I was like, no, my father was born in 55. So if Gambia is 65, then it's 10 years younger. That's how I was. That's the math I was doing in my head. So Gambia is 56, right? Hold on. So I was gonna say something, right?
Yes.
So Gambia is 56.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's not get into that. Let's just relax because I don't want to be too political. Let's go. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Let's not.
Tell your audience I'm Gambian.
Okay. Well, they want your passport revoked.
Somebody said, bro, nigga.
Passport. We might certainly.
Look at it right there. Jump on the telephone.
Yeah. So the question. So let's give you the answers to the questions real quick.
All right, go ahead.
So,
hit me.
3 songs. I don't think you could remember any Gambian song that has lyrics at the end of the day, or the lyrics to any Gambian song. You couldn't remember that because there are multiple songs. There's for me, number one was.
I know this one. Mala Butaga. Nyep kosi beef.
Gambian song. That was something someone created out of boredom. Let me just tell you that. Okay. So you don't know 3 songs. So you the next question was Super Kanja or Domoda. Your go-to is Domoda.
Domoda. I like Domoda, boy.
Butterscotch is made out of condensed milk. You got that right.
My mom used to sell that.
Bro, everyone. You see, fascinatingly, people were forced in school to buy butterscotch. Like we had students that were getting punished by teachers because they buy butterscotch, bro. Do you know how messed up that is?
Yeah, it's messed up. It's
Oh,
messed up because yeah, it's messed up. The teacher was trying to survive.
yep.
Serious.
What's the Jamano? So the Jamano in 2004, 2005 to like 2008. Um, Gamtel, the telecommunication company in the Gambia, had had a new deal with like it was it basically was an Indian company to supply them telephone. So this were like the first this were like the first off cable, like what's it called, the first kind of handheld device, mobile device.
I remember
Before
the green ones, transparent
no,
green ones, looking ones.
it was like it was the telephone that you didn't need a cable to, you could literally move around the house, talking on the phone.
What year was this?
It was like 2004 to 2008.
Mm.
Yeah, so they had the Gamtian had the Germano. So Germano was a telephone. It was the one before they brought cell phones, pretty much. Before
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cards came through. So it was basically wireless. Basically, it was like the first wireless telephone.
yeah.
Um, and the last one right here, you actually you fumbled that one as well. That was the age the Gambia will be celebrating its independence on February 18th. That's in a couple of days.
To be fair with you, the reason why I actually don't really know what the age is, besides the mathematical error, is because in reality, like Gambia is 6 weeks old.
Bro, that's conversation. That's conversation for another day. But let the last one on this amazing show that everyone always waits for is you getting to sing the national anthem.
Whoa! For the Gambia, our homeland, we strive and walk and pray that all may live in unity, freedom, and peace each day. May God spare our homeland to strive and walk and pray. That's all I remember. I know I messed up some, but I'll tell you this, right? Hold on, people. Hold on, bro. Hold on. The last time I sang Gambian, this last time I sang or even remembered Gambian national anthem, I was in primary school, bro. We didn't do it in
What?
secondary school. We didn't do it in secondary school, and we definitely didn't do it in St. Peter's, bro. I'm telling you,
What?
you made me just the reason why I got excited to even do it. Bro, the last time I remember singing national anthem, I was in primary six, boy, St. Teresa's boy.
Damn.
And a lot of the words, we didn't even know it, bro.
True. True.
Like for our diverse homeland, we used to say for our diverse. And I used to wonder,
Diverse
what diverse he
to
gave me? What kind of diverse he gave me, boy? Look at the guy gave what diverse.
we must blow the hole. We pledge our family, our promise to you. And then everybody just wait for that part. Pararam pam. Keep us, God of nations, to the Gambia ever true.
I don't know if I got all the words right at the beginning, but you know what?
Yes.
I'm gonna if we have a conversation again, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go learn that anthem. I just
Okay.
need to read the words again, the lyrics again.
Okay. We sincerely apologize. This
But
is
I did well. I did well.
this is Crude with Lindani, guys. If you're just joining us, this is a fascinating young man, and the conversation is it's love. So let's get into the love conversation now. Hey,
Yeah, a lighter conversation would be nice. Who's this? Is it bro? Digga, bro. Sis, be like, yeah, niggas. I am Linget. Linget is a beautiful name. Mother of a king.
okay, so guys, I'm going to give you a little snippet, right? You could go to his page and check out this brand new poem
You
called
know what I
Poetry.
should you know what I should have done?
Yes.
I should have sent you one of the tracks that's actually on the album.
Okay. Okay.
I can do it now.
Okay.
Let me get it. Let me get my laptop.
Okay. So in the meantime, let's let's.
Hold on, hold on. 1 second. Where's my laptop? Are you guys taking shoot? All right, cool.
I did party.
Just hold on, bro.
But guys, come on, this one needs to look at this. Look at bowling, bowling.
Yeah, but go ahead. What were you saying?
No. It's okay. I said just ball, Sha. Just ball.
Oh God.
I said just go ahead and ball.
My lips converse with yours.
Ooh. Okay. I need to start. I need to start this. Guys, check this out.
Ah, my battery's dead. Should I?
Potent. If you love poetry, just listen. If you don't, just listen.
See, I usually have the fear of running out of words till I see you. Something about your body ignites creativity and makes me feel brand new. So I say, hey, Pointon, close the.
Ooh, boy. Like so.
Close the
I have to
curtain
give
and
them,
keep your mind.
bro.
Close your
I have
curtain
to
and
give.
keep your mind open.
I had to give them. I had to give them that snippet. Guys, follow him on
Let
his page right here. Follow him on his page right here on Instagram, and get into this beautiful poem, Potent. You mentioned the poem being about it's about the moments of love. You said self love, reflection, and calm. How important is this to you?
reflection for me is important because reflection is how I find the better self of me. Reflection is how I get to the. Reflection is the journey. Monica, you and use puma ega from water ega when it comes to me.
Okay.
So, calm is important because in calm you get reflection. Without calm, there's no reflection.
True.
Right. So,
Mhm.
that poem was a reflection of how I want to love someone, but also how I want to love. Because loving someone has everything to do with how you want to love. You can't love someone outside the parameters of how you want to love. Right. So that poem was basically about that, the important one. Yeah.
Into the conversation of love, you have, like I mentioned, you have Voices of Victory. That's the album that you're working on. That pretty much is going to be out, released on the 8th of March. So guys, check it out. It's certainly going to be quite a collection. He already has songs prepared. Now, when you speak of songs, are we looking at actual musical tracks, or is just like Potent? Um, Also, just with the music, and like I saw you talking initially in a snippet video about just your vocals, just singing some parts here and there, and just putting the message across. That what we're expecting.
Yeah. So, and on that poetry album or collective, whatever you call it, because what I do, this really doesn't have a genre. And I like it that way because the world has been trying to put a black person in a box for a long time. I don't like to be placed in a box. So, um, the whole album, every single track sounds very different. The whole
Okay.
track album, actually, from the beginning to the end, is like a movie. So if you listen to it, you realize it's like you're going through a journey, and it's very personal. When you're listening to the album, it's like I'm actually talking to you that's listening to it. because I wanted again to take you on a journey of reflection.
Journey of reflection. In the conversation of love, romance is a very it's a very important aspect. And you have a lot of people that don't really, just expressing how romantically um curious you may be, in terms of, in terms of talking to your partner, all of that stuff. Now you bring in this particular piece, important, you talk so much about um love making, and and pleasuring the woman, and the fantasy that you have about her body and how she makes you feel, and all of that, and all of these different elements. How how do you come to this? Is this just your mind running, or
Can I tell you something? When I was writing Important, what I was thinking about, my mother. I was thinking about my mother because I'll tell you, I'll give you a breakdown of the words because when people hear those words, they go to the box of what they know. So when I say things like "let me navigate your temple," I was thinking about my mother because my mother was a treasure, and how I want somebody to love my mother, and how I want to love somebody. When I was writing that poem, I was thinking nothing romantic in a sense of sexuality. I was thinking about how do I want my mother to feel. That poem came from how I want my mother to feel. But it came out in a very interesting way. But that's the beauty of poetry, is that it can come out in a way you didn't expect it to come out. But the intent and the drive and the motivation for that piece was my mother. Was 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 how I want my mother to be loved. She's temple. So let me see Juma Walanga dem si church be. There's a way you go in, there's a way you dress, there's a way you treat it. If we start treating women and treating ourselves like temples, then our homes become better places. When I say grab on my shoulders and let your back loose in the poem, I'm saying put your weight and your stress and your burden on my shoulders. Let your back loose. Let your burden loose. Let it go. Because I got it on my back.
okay, okay,
When I say that I have the fear of running out of words, I'm saying that I do have the fear of me not being myself, and me not being complete, and me not being in my purpose and my clarity. But when I see you and I reflect on you, I find myself. My creativity is finding myself. You ignite the creativity in me. That's what wives do. That's what mothers do. That's what women do. That's why the poem is a lot of it has to do with gender. And when you hear the whole album, you hear voices of women from the beginning to the end. Women in the market. You get like a source. The whole album has that because I was trying to get this message across that women are a source of inspiration. They have a feminine energy of creation. They are literally the source of creation. They are the source of life. If something is the source of life itself, it means that everything that comes out that can come out, that they can be the source of it. That's how powerful they are. So any society that's not embracing the power of women as creation and creative beings is depriving itself of fully discovering itself. That's what that poem is about, the important one. So when people are listening to it and you're gonna hear a romantic feel and you're gonna be like, it's just a glass of wine poem, that's not the inspiration of the poem. The poem is to recognize the position of women as very powerful citizens and humans of the planet. And then from there you can be inspired. In their absence, you fear losing out on your creativity, but in their presence, you discover yourself. But we as men, we have to carry the burden, that burden of emotional abuse and stress and domestic violence. We have to take that away and put it on our back and let their back loose. Because when they are loose, they allow us to create because they got freedom. The freedom of women is really the freedom of everybody else. That's what that poem is about, bro.
I like that. I like that. Guys, check out Voices of Victory. It's out in March, and I can't wait.
Make sure you come to
Fortune.
the live lunch because it's the 5th.
Yes.
I'm going to send you the invite. Come to the live lunch.
Okay. I'll certainly get to do that. About into the questions, like I told people, you could send your questions right here to Lindani, and we'll send it over to him, or we'll read it over to him so he can get to answer. So as I scroll through right now, someone asked, there's a question, are all the are there any tracks that you play while making love? What no, do you have? Yeah.
I don't play any of the tracks while making love because the tracks came from me.
Okay.
What I recorded is an extension of me for you that's not gonna make love with me or that have access to me to hear.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm making love or I'm spending quality time with my wife, I don't need to play the poetry because I'm the poetry itself. So my wife gets me. You don't get me, but you get a part of me. You get an extension of me.
Yes.
But if I'm with my friends and my family, they get the poet. They get me all the time. Like right now, you're getting me.
Yes. I like that. Answer to that question. Another question that just came to someone that's having fun. What would you love? Okay, I mean, this has to do with your relationship. I mean, the marriage. Would you love your wife for real, and not just for show? As we basically have a lot of couples that are paid to flex on the gram, and mislead many into the illusion of bliss and perfection. Now we're
Yeah,
talking about, you're newly married, especially in the video. Your wife is a representation of the message right there.
yeah.
um is this something for real, or you just going for the gram?
I First of all, I signed some papers, so it's real. I went to court and I did that wedding. I had my family were there, and the families were there. But I get why they're asking that question. You see, just because somebody is reflecting their joy and happiness doesn't mean that they're saying that everything is perfect. Perfection is actually found in imperfection. The reason why you have the word perfection is because there's imperfections. They go together. They're good friends. They're good friends, my brother and sisters. You got to embrace them both. But people are not going to show you their imperfections necessarily. Do you know why? Because at that point and that moment in time, you're not physically present to help them fix it. But when they have joy and they're in the presence of happiness, they want to share that with the world. The intention for me and my wife is for us to inspire. For me, it's for me to fundamentally elevate. It's not to elevate in perfection. It is to elevate in the sense that even though we might have difficult times, we still recognize the need to elevate each other. So it's not for the show necessarily. It is a reflection of elevation. If it inspires you, catch the fire and cook your own food. I'm not telling you what to cook. I'm just lighting fire that you can use to light your own stove and cook your own food. So cook yours. And when you cook yours and it smells good, that's the whole point of life. It's a sequence of inspiration. So my life is a sequence of inspiration. And that's what I'm trying to do. It's not a showcase. In fact, I was very hesitant about recording that video because I was like, do I really want to record that video? Because am I going to get the message across? That's the reason why most of the video was my wife in the video and not me, because that point was about the important one. It was not about me. If I had the choice, I wouldn't even be in the video. Right? So when you go online and you see people and you see Danny and his wife, or you see me and my wife, we're not reflecting perfection. We're reflecting our journey. And in that journey, believe me, Gambian and nigga, African and nigga, Angatian and nigga, tell you put on potholes, boy. For them, you put on potholes. But you're still on the journey. That's it.
Can I ask how much the bride price was?
No, I can't tell you how much the bride price was. My wife is Nigerian. So
yes, that's why I'm wondering. How did you convince?
I'll tell you this. I'm very lucky and I'm thankful. My wife is Nigerian. The father is Nigerian, and my wife is more on the Nigerian side. She's very close to it. Sometimes I even ask her, "Are you sure you are not born in Nigeria?" But the mother is Jamaican and half Scottish, and the mother has this mindset that when people are getting married, your responsibility as a parent is to help them and create a platform It's not an opportunity for you to take away, it's an opportunity for you to give. So instead of my def lugar men the Sunny Hollies, hey Sunny Hollies, why, and the constant mind the Sunny Hollies. No, we took all that money and built the foundation and we're still building. So I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed. Right? So I didn't have to go through all of that hustle because I know for a lot of men that want to get married, this is a reality for them where they're like, boy, I'm a Hollies, people say. I have friends that have spent 50, 60K plus on weddings in pounds. I have friends that their wedding, I have Indian friends, some of their wedding cost 200 grand in pounds. Some of them are divorced after a year. That's the reality of it. All that stuff is not important. Let me tell you something, bro. When you're living your life and you're doing what you have to do with yourself and you're so focused, you realize the irrelevance of people's opinion and what drink they like and what toga like I like, what akalinyong bufa guy like, what akani, what amuton. All of that stuff is pointless. You know why? Because in my house now, I'm chilling with my wife. We're working our finances together. There's nobody coming out giving us a hand. So what ego am I trying to charge at the expense of my future and my children? What ego am I trying to charge? Bro, I'm very okay with saying this is how they did it for the last 1,000 years, but today, 1,001 day, it's my turn and I'm doing it my way. I'm happy doing that. I'm fine with that. I'm so comfortable doing that. If you have a wife or a girlfriend or husband, go and find your wife, get together, have the same understanding, have this discussion, ask this simple question: are we getting married for purpose, and we're trying to build and leave a legacy, or are we trying to feed the ego? The ego is a little child; it needs too much attention. Are we trying to feed the ego? Okay, we're trying to feed the okay. Let's go and get into debt and take some loan that we can't afford to pay, so we can just have some sabar and ginti and noise. Or let's feed the purpose and do things with intelligence for the long term. Your kids are going to thank you for the schools you sent them to, for the bank account you saved for them for 20 years, for the stock market you got them in, for the private schooling you got them in, for the books you bought. They're not going to thank you because you spent some money on your wife getting married.
How do we normalize being honest in a Gambian culture without the stigma of being labeled as troublemakers or troublemaker?
Okay, so there's first of all, change is a process.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. I can have this discussion with you. I listen to you. I know I can have it with you. I wouldn't have this discussion with everybody else because people go to school and graduate at different years. I got to the understanding that people are going through their own journey and people graduate at different years. I can't have every conversation with everybody.
Sure.
In fact, malo dapat ne bahno damo da dapat saf so ko do a 2 week old baby. For me, hale be didn't survive. They can survive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not ready for it. I give people what they're ready for. Yes, I push them, but there has to be some sort of basis for me to feel like I can have this kind of conversation. That's number one. That's why we're having this discussion to start with, right? So when you want to create change and you want to have an opinion, you have to be very smart with how you do it. The idea is not for you to put other people down and make them feel like they're stupid. Nobody change and grow and discover themselves by you making them feel small. That's not what you do. You empower people. By empowering people, you give them opportunity to reflect. In those reflections, they find their own way.
True. Very, 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 very. Apart from work, and married life, is you have anything else leisure
Bro,
apart from drink?
but
Apart from
the wine, I love the wine, and one of the reasons why my father got me into wine. Wine is the only thing I drink. I really love wine. Wine relaxes me. It really does. I enjoy it, you know. Basketball is another thing I did. You know me. You know, lockdown, I've not been able to play any basketball. So the only other thing I've been doing is really just I've been engaged with my poetry more. My poetry has become my leisure.
nice.
My poetry has become my leisure, yeah.
A quick question right here as well. Like I'm just taking questions from guys. Yo, if you're celebrating love today, we wish you well. It's a day for love. Like I said, choose love. Whether you are single or you're with somebody, just choose love. The question is, what is the key for a solid relationship based on your experience?
The key for a solid relationship is you recognizing that it's not the issues that happen and the difficulties that reoccur. It is how you deal with them. It's not the problem, it's how you deal with the problem. It's how you communicate that problem. It's not the flatoin, the comere. After that, is how do you deal with it? Do you sit down in your dialogue? Do you try and seek an understanding of why and how and when? And if a different circumstance had occurred, would it be different? Do you take the opportunity to actually say, baby, ni la ko like it, well, another la ko buge. It's literally not the issue, is what comes after the issue. Is how you deal with the issue. There's a lady called Susanna Scott. She wrote a book called Fierce Leadership.
Yeah.
It's a very good book on radical transparency. She said companies and relationships fail because of the lack of conversations that didn't happen before. It never fails overnight. It fails over a period of time. So if
So,
you're in a relationship, have those discussions. Be
so
honest.
the piling up of these different issues.
The piling up of things and you're not dealing with it. Just say it. And I'm applying that principle to the T. Me and my wife, she's upset, she says it. If I'm not happy about something, I say it. What we are trying to master is not the pain that we experience, it's how we express the pain that we experience. It is from how you express the pain that you experience, you either build or you destroy. Because the pain can really be an opportunity for you to get to know each other more and build a stronger relationship. But the pain can also be an opportunity to destroy it. So really it comes back down to one simple thing. How do you use the pain? How do you communicate the pain? How do you connect? How do you empathize with the pain?
Another question that's coming through right here has to do with, you know, the modern the modern appearance, the modern what word would I use? A lot of young people would tell you, oh, I don't need love. I need money.
You don't need love, you need money. Okay.
Yes. So someone's like, yeah, I'd rather cry in a Bentley than be in, you know, in a messed up relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm working. Most of the people that experience, they're like, yo, no, I'm working on myself. Um, what's your take on just the notion that a lot of people somewhat feel like? What would you say is the reason why people run away from themselves to hide under the pretext of the hustle?
First of all, as far as I heard or I've known, a Bentley or a Rolls Royce has never been a vaccine for pain. Maybe for their world, it's been a vaccine for pain. Pain is pain, whether you're in a Lamborghini or you are in Yang Tipagaras, man, as Ivan, you don't know Tipagaras. If there's Tipagaras, I'm not still in Gambia. It doesn't matter. Pain is pain. Being in a Bentley or being in a Gele Gele doesn't change the difference. Bentley is not a vaccine. But I get the point that they're trying to make. The first thing to understand is that money is a resource, but it's not the only resource. It's one of the many resources. So if you're going to build your life just on one resource, when you have gold, you have silver, you have relationship, you have love, you have friendship, you have family, you have all of these other resources, you said to yourself, I'm actually going to take 10% of all the resources that are available to the world to design my life and plan my life, then you need to think about it again. It's a resource. The money is a resource. The thing about it is people don't see money as a resource. They see it as an end goal. They see it as the thing to go and get, not the thing to actually use, to go and get the real things. So if you see money as the thing to go and get and not as a resource, then you build your life around it. Nobody builds their livelihood around running water. Why are you going to build your life? Why are you going to build a house when the water is running away from the house? You're going to build your house where the water is coming to. So you can drink from it and feed from it and expand and plant and grow and have a farm and have a family and have kids from it. If you have to run after money, then there's a problem. It's a resource. It's there. It's not somewhere. It's just there. Like gold, like silver, like oil, like groundnut, dulin, dutir. It's resource. It's there. When you stop chasing money and you have a bigger understanding for life, money come and find you. Money is really a reflection of the connections that you have with life. So don't go after the money, build the connections that you have with life. Build a family, build the friends, raise the kids. And you're going to tell me, but to raise the kids, you need money. Yes, to raise the kids, you need a resource. One of them is money, but it's not the only resource.
Wow. I like that. I like that. I like that. Guys, it's Valentine though. We're celebrating love. Next question. What is, listen,
Asking me all these heavy questions when you're saying you're
I'm,
celebrating love.
no, because I feel with the experience that you have and the open-mindedness that comes with your that comes with your emotion acceptance of things and life, and just gives gives this conversation a different dimension. It gives it weight, and that's what I appreciate. That's what I appreciate. Just getting to talk to you. I have dragged this a little longer, but I appreciate it. I mean,
I'm happy, bro. I'm happy. I'm happy to be here.
We're doing this. Max is asking, what's the best relationship advice you can give through your experience?
My best relationship advice is what I will give to myself. I wish I had the understanding and the maturity that wasting somebody else's time is fundamentally saying that my time is of no worth and value.
Say that again.
The best advice I can give to you with relationships in general is to recognize that wasting somebody else's time is fundamentally saying that my own time has no value and has no worth.
Wow.
Because wasting somebody's time is distracting me from using my time effectively. It's taking away time from me. Wasting somebody else's time wastes your time. Investing in somebody and being honest and genuine with somebody, it means you're investing in yourself, because in truth and honesty, you discover yourself and you get to build. In deceiving somebody else, you're creating distraction for yourself. You're causing them pain, but you're causing yourself distraction. Distraction is very expensive. That's my honest advice. If I wish I was thinking like this 10 years ago, I would have been 20 years ahead. And at the end of the day it has to be bigger than you. You have to want better. You have to love being alive, man. My friend died 13th of January. He's 33 years old. He has an economics degree and a master's degree in economics. All that stuff is gone. He's never gonna be. He's on Facebook. He's never gonna message me back. One of my friends who did my master's program with, she died of cancer. She had cancer the whole time. She never said to me. I just saw on Instagram that she died. She had some of the biggest dreams in the world. She wanted to create this whole media platform for Africans to connect. She died. Life don't owe you shit. You ain't got time to waste nobody else's time, because you ain't got time to waste your time. I wish I had that understanding 10 years ago. I wish somebody said that to me. Boy, we're able. I'm a lot time for yaha. Like, just because you have running water every single day doesn't mean that you're entitled to it. It's the same thing with life. You have to take it like, yo, I'm working. I'm going to laugh and I'm going to smile. I'm going to work and I'm going to do the things that I have to do. So when it comes to relationship, it's the same thing. Find somebody that's gonna allow you to live your purpose. Have clarity on what you want to be remembered for. That's number one. If you're confused about what you want to do in life, marriage-wise, relationship-wise, job-wise, ask yourself one simple question. What do you want to be remembered for? So this is what he was about. When you find out that particular answer, you will know what man to marry. You will know what woman to marry. You will know what friends to have. You will know what jobs to have. You will know what car to drive and what car not to drive. When you're on the motorway, you won't be doing 200 miles per hour.
True.
Is that clarity? As soon as you have that clarity, you're good. Do you want to be remembered because you have a beautiful wife who's out in the world and just showing off? Or do you want to be remembered as somebody who's built a powerful home where your kids can make a real difference? Who do you want to be remembered for? That's the question. Because at the end of the day, believe me, if you don't create much to be remembered for, sa own family, sa own yata for they didn't remember once in a while. Why this, but that's it. Most of us are gonna die, and our absence is not gonna mean much to even the people we love the most. That's the reality.
Okay. I feel that the transformation that happened to you is so immense, and I feel this wave trickle down to everyone else that's watching this today. It's powerful. What happened? How did you get to that black hole?
I met good people that made me reflect. I met good people that said to me that you are more than just a name and a boy from Gambia. I met people that made me see the significance of my existence and that I am not a representation of a collective, that I'm a representation of my uniqueness and my gifts and my purpose. I am not a representation of the gang and the group and the culture per se. I'm a representation of my purpose and my gift. I am a vessel. I am supposed to carry that out, hand on the baton to somebody else to continue that journey. I am only as relevant as my purpose. My purpose can do very well without me because somebody else will be doing it anyways. I got to this point because when I came to the UK, I realized that I have been in a war with the world my whole life. I didn't know it. If you're in Africa, you're in war with the world. You're in a war right now. The World Bank you're in war with. African Union to an extent you're in war with. Your own governments you're in war with. Poverty you're in war with. Lack of education that brings out the best in you you're in war with. Good food and good health you're in war with. Even if you have trees that have mangoes and bananas behind your house, you're in war with because you don't even recognize that they have the better vitamins instead of going to the pharmacy and buying something that was made in India and China. So you're in war with yourself. I became aware of that. I became aware that I am Wolof mixed with Aku. I'm Gambian. That my roots and my ancestors have set a path. It's been interfered with, but I'm trying to connect back with it. That goes deeper than religion and goes deeper than what people have told me. Right? I realized that I was the toad or the water in Sisujerbi, sitting there on a cool temperature. They never knew I was on a stove and my ass was getting burnt. When I jumped out of the stove, because I came to the UK and I realized, God damn, I was getting burnt the whole time. And the sad thing is, some of us are in the UK and in America and still getting burnt, and we still don't realize it. That's why, and I'll tell you one thing, bro. This is one of my serious motivations. I feel like, me and you are lucky to be here. People like us are lucky to be here because our brothers are dying just to get here, just to understand what here is about. That's why so they make Gambia, and I want in Nike, Axa Jordan, Axa Moto, BMW. You're not taking back books. You're not taking back information. The information that's made your life a little bit more comfortable so they can become that and do that back in Gambia. I see you as a parasite. I see you as a problem. I have a problem with you. They are dying on the sea, getting raped because they trying to come to England, not to even get what they think they're going to get, just to get an idea of chains and shoes and nice clothes and bags and pay tickets to go to Gambia once a year. People are dying. Some of the people that are supposed to be our doctors and our nurses, transform and create ideas, are dying. I have the opportunity to not go through that journey, to be in the UK. I want to be around the best in the UK. The people I find, the people that mentor me are at the top. I don't find people just because they're available. They're at the top. The people I have on my phone are at the top. The jobs I find, they're at the top. I want friends at the top. Because it takes going to the top. Because even though I'm here, like Mary Angela said, I'm here by myself, but I represent 1,000. I represent 1.7 million Gambians. So every single day, bro, counts. Because we have sisters and brothers dying back way every single day, going to Italy, which I lived in, playing basketball, getting treated like shit every single day, just so they can feel like they're human beings. So when I go to Serikunda Market, I came to Gambia 3 years ago for the first time after 10 years. I was in tears seeing an 8-year-old girl to Serikunda Master Dijai 7 o'clock in the morning when they're supposed to be in school discovering their true gift. If you're Gambian and you're in the West and you're going back 1 a.m. 1 like BMW, you don't get it. That should bother you, bro. That pisses me off. Because we're giving them a misconception of the realities that are here. We should be taking back what they can become. We should be taking back conversations for them to reflect. We should be telling them fundamentally, you are a leader. A leader is not about title. It's about knowing that you have the power to transform and you have the power to create. That's what it's about. That's why we need presidents and leaders and mayors and alcalos and teachers that inspire and elevate. I don't care about the BMWs and the Rolls Royce. To be fair with you, if I was a Gambian, if I became a president of Gambia, tomorrow morning, all the Rolls Royce and Pajeros are going to be auctioned. They're going. Everything is gone. To be fair with you, Gambia is so small, we all need to be on bicycles anyways. Save some planet, create some fresh air. Everybody, all those Rolls Royce got to go. I'm getting charged up. I don't say much. I don't do politics because I know I don't want to get into that path. But I'm just saying, if you're really about it, be about it. If you're going Gambia, MC, no, they need you. Take the information. You see how the parliament works here. Take it. Have a discussion. Like all a video being a guy. Even though they have social media, they might not know what to look for. If I was in Gambia, I wouldn't know what to look for because I don't know what to look for. Go back to Gambia, take stuff, take books, go have conversations. Take basketball, take football, have conversations. Take back what you, let me tell you something. The West became the West. You know why? Not because of colonization or slavery. They became the West because they traveled and they took away. America became America because it took away. It went to places and it stole and it borrowed and it had conversations. Go and take. When you come to the West, learn. Ask yourself simple questions. One thing I learned about my job, Europeans are very good at studying themselves. They want to know who they are. But not only do they want to know who they are, they want to know about everybody else. In Gambia, we haven't even started knowing people. We haven't even started that journey yet, bro. So we are way behind. We are way behind. What conversations are you having at home? Are you having conversations with your family, with your mother, with your sisters, with your brothers? How can we make things better? That's what my leadership is about. When I come to Gambia and I'm speaking to young people, I'm saying you have the power to create. You have to understand that because we're programmed to think that development is a very distant thing. That better akluba dem aljana we happen. We're raised to think like that. Boy, let's look at that question. You're getting me fired up, Danny. You're not supposed to do this. It's Valentine's weekend.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you one question. If somebody dies in Gambia today, what does that stop? That stops anybody from saying, it stops anybody from saying, what can we actually do to make things better? If somebody died on traffic, it stops anybody from saying, speed la don daw. Talibi, badin ko design full speed no. Police lampa nekon. Ana lampa before na neka for driver bumuna giskum neka. You don't ask those questions because tapa just day because yala mo kodogal. Development doesn't happen when you don't take the power that God has given you to develop. Somebody's giving you life and a brain to think. You want them to come and put food in your mouth? Really? I said, as if I was God, I'd be angry every day. Because I'd be looking at people would be like, they're crazy. I gave them food. I gave them a place to live. I gave them vitamins. I gave them roots to heal themselves. I give them water to drink. I give them sunlight for vitamin D so they can revitalize themselves and give themselves energy. And they're still waiting on me to give them a better life? Bruh. People praying for things that they can go create themselves. Prayer is action. Prayer is doing. Go do it, bro. Go get that fruit. Eat that mango. Get your vitamin C up. Go build that school, bro. Go start that business. Go build a marriage. Go love somebody. Go be a good father. You don't need to go to school for that. The thing about it is school has made us think that development and intelligence is so complicated, but it's so simple though. It's right there in front of you, man. But I'm saying this to say this for people that are listening. If you're in Europe and you're busy worried about going Gambia, pull them Senegambia, pull party. But I hate going Senegambia because I see our young women hanging around men that are just coming there to destroy them and spread sickness. I hate going Senegambia. I can count how many times I've been there. Not more than twice. The second time I went to Senegambia, I met you on the way. I was with Andy. In 3 times of going to Gambia, I hated. Are we going back to school to engage? I went to St. Teresa's one time. The kids were like, we love it that you came back because very rare do we see our own come back. You waiting for somebody to tell you that? Go back to Gambia. Take something for them. Inspire them. Show them something different. But do you know what that means? That means when you're in the West now, you have to be accountable. That means you have to engage yourself. That means you have to be doing the things to empower yourself so you can go and do that to somebody else. But to go Gambian, all you have to show is Nike and nice clothes. That means that it's easy for you. You don't have no one is going to keep you accountable. And when you're in England or when you're in America, you don't have to do anything really serious because back home, I was in Gambia one time. I was in Westville. I'm going to shut up after this one. And the West,
bro, it's fine. Look, it's fine. It's fine. I love where this is going. And listen, you have the opportunity of being on, because also of the day in which we are in. Do you understand what I'm saying? I love the fact that we're doing this because I said when I posted this morning about sharing love and people being in love or love, it's diverse. Just the topic itself is diverse. Like it hits us in so many aspects. And I love the fact that we're able to touch on each and every one of this.
yeah,
Looking at the cultural aspect of pretty much just the environment in which we come from, which is Africa, which is designed in such a way that the mindset from a young age is about just leaving, because we, like you said, we're programmed by the individuals that have gone and come back to see that, oh yeah, it's all about going and coming back to flash the nice things instead of empowering, instead of bringing the change back over to us when they took the resources to go make themselves look good. Now we go there to get the nice things to come back and intimidate the ones that are left behind.
yeah.
It's messed up that in 2021 our governments are still having the same conversation that the founding fathers of the African Union had.
Yeah.
In terms of socio-economic development, and the list goes on.
I'll tell you this simple thing, bro. And I'm saying this and I mean it. If somebody has a different opinion, I'm welcome to take it. Africans are Africans by accident. Africans are not Africans because they genuinely want to be Africans. If I took a plane now and took it to most African states and say, Kylie, I'm going to see plane beat. I'm going to make a farmers for 10 years. Dumalan say, after all, you're free to go. Half of Gambia would leave. And I don't blame them. Africans, for me, are Africans by accident. It's not by choice. They're just there. That's why a mayor has more pride to say, private school at them, than actually saying, hold on, I've built a school in my local neighborhood and it's one of the best schools in the world. That's why somebody in Gambia is proud to say, I drive a Range Rover instead of saying I built a library. That's why a government or prime minister or mayor is happy to say, I have 3-4 jabar. Then I actually, you know what? I've actually created opportunities for these young girls to really realize that their gender doesn't stop them from becoming who they're destined to be. So the pride is not in the nation or on the land. The pride is in themselves. So there's a huge disconnect between the African person and the African country as a land. White people came to Africa, they got the most. They got the land, they got the resources, they got the real wealth. We're coming to Europe to get the crumbs and we go back home and we call it the real wealth. I don't blame them. It's cool because poor people think the reflections of wealth is real wealth. So poor people think that reflections of wealth is real wealth. So they spend their time trying to reflect wealth instead of actually taking and owning wealth. Nobody flosses land because you can't floss land. It's there. That's wealth. You can't floss real gold. I'm not talking about a chain. It's real wealth. It's stored somewhere. Real wealth, you don't show off. You can't show off because it owns its own presence. It's physically stable. The flashes of wealth, though, you can move around. It's portable. So you show that off. But the people that are more, I've been to certain places in the UK where people don't even wear watches. And if they wear a watch, you don't even know the name of it. They wear shoes, you don't even know the name of it. They don't advertise. And I started connecting the dots. I'm like, these people are some serious people. And they don't even want to text you where they are. They will call you and tell you they don't want it to be on the phone. They're so aware of detail. They're real carriers and owners of wealth. They move governments. For me personally, I think that it's a problem. And this is me. I'm not saying everybody should be like this. I think it's a problem to go to Gambia, one of the poorest countries in the world, one of the lowest literacies in the world, one of the most underdeveloped countries in the world, that hasn't even started a journey of development yet. And you go there as a Gambian and you have the opportunity to be in the West and you forget that. And by forgetting that, you go back with nothing that can add value, not to the physical things of people, but to the mentality of people that allows them to realize that they're able, they're capable, and they were built equally. The difference is they just happen to be in a place that is unequal in the world.
Back to your story. You're about to tell us a short story at some point.
Yeah. Let me light this. Let me charge my phone. Go ahead, bro. I'm listening.
You had a story. You had a story at the point, but when you said you you want to you wanted to get off, I was like, no. Before I cut you off, there was a story you were about to get into.
I can't remember the story that I was gonna get back to, but I was just trying to make the point that we have a responsibility to elevate, and we have a responsibility to fix our problems. And for me, let me rephrase that. 70% of African entrepreneurs are women. So Sunyai, they have been doing things on their own for time. They've been doing things. Most homes in Gambia are financed, morally managed, emotionally managed by mothers.
Yes.
I go to Gambia, mer bangi taka dom si ganawa mo taka ay si wonjo. Dal bangi play dam ak di watan ak di kurus. And that's cool. Mer bangi taka muge jai taka wonjo di taka dohi sera pul jai. Economics, business, entrepreneurship. Different mind frame. She's doing that. The dad is outside. Muge take kurus. Muge just do si jumal wala si church. And it's cool. The reason why I don't have these conversations is because I have the conversation that makes you reflect. If you have too much ego, we can't have this discussion because your ego is too childish and needs too much nene, ayo nene. I don't have the time to ayo nene. I'm Gambian. I get my like your Gambian. I don't have the time to ayo nene. If you want to have some real radical transparency discussions, we can have it. And one of the things I'm actually saying now is the women are doing already what they're supposed to do. What we're supposed to do is give them the platform, make it easier for them. Because they have the brain. They already have that. We just need to create the platform. We need to make sure they don't worry about being raped. We have to make sure they don't have to worry about those things so they can just go and create and make life better for everybody else. That's what we need to do. Right? So for me, it's like our fathers have failed us. So Papa, then you feel.
True.
Till this day, Mununyo create a sustainable continent. Till this day, African Union is literally being financed by the EU. Sa gor, sama rami gor din yung finance. Yo sa gamin, sama rami gor nyo wala finance ang arus. Why tubab nyo wala finance rusulo. Nga neka gor, sama rami gor, pero hindi kanyo dila finance, and you're happy to take it. Not only do you take the money, you take it and you spend it like a child in a candy store. You take the money, you buy pajeros and pickups. Nga am job government legi suma time la puleka. Nga dem Friday, nga dem Julie, nga dem Juma, Sunday, nga dem talk to Jesus. You think you're okay? You think you're good up there? You think you're gonna die and go to heaven because you were praying? You took money that was supposed to save thousands of lives. Labutambi amud lal amud dara amud lal amud ventilator amud dara. People are dying, and we're taking advantage because they don't know what to ask for. The sad thing about poverty is that poor people don't know what to ask for because they're busy trying to survive. So you're a leader, you have the opportunity and you take advantage of that, and you're driving Pajero. Gambia, nobody in government should be having a Rolls Royce and a Pajero, bro. Bro, come on. You're driving a $250,000 car on sand? How much does it cost to build a school, bro? To build a library, bro? Where people can go and read and create ideas and invent things, bro? How much does it cost, bro, to start a business? How much does it cost to go into Sirikunda market and create business classes for women in the market and show them in their own languages that they understand how they can build and scale up their businesses? How much does it cost, bro? $500,000, bro? No, it doesn't. It doesn't cost that, but we don't give a shit. And we cover it in hypocrisy of God and religion. We do. We're so good at it. I have my friends Tubab Gomunyala, but they Gomunyala more than you and me because they're looking after their people, bro. Y'all Gomunyala, but you're not looking after yours. You must gum the devil because the devil don't care about people and you don't care about people. So tell me, who do you really gum in? Let's be real. Let's have these real discussions, bro. Who do you really care about? Who do you care about? Leadership is very simple. For me, a leader is not who is in power or who has title. Leader is this. Leadership is SHIP. S is for sympathy, understanding the pain of the people that you're around. H is for hope, giving hope by the way you do things and the way you inspire and elevate people. I is also for inspiration, letting people understand just because Gambia or Africa is where it is now, you know what, we're going to fix this. P is for persistence, understanding your purpose and staying current with it and staying consistent with it, staying in persistence. That's what leadership is. It's that simple. If I ask you what you like about Obama, you can't tell me what he got a degree in. You just tell me how he is. It's habits. It's soft skills. You don't teach it. You have to want it and you replicate that. If you have to be on a plane and spend $4 million traveling from country to country, bro, listen, let me tell you something. I'm not Gambia because my nigga was so I'm not going to win elections if I wanted to be a president. But if I have to jump on the plane to go and do a meeting and I have to spend $2 million to do that meeting, then I want meeting me and let's go on Zoom and Skype, bro, because that $2 million sympathy. They understand what's going on. I can do the meeting on Zoom. If it's America, let them come. America, you want to do business? Okay, you come because that $2 million, first of all, it's a loan or a grant. Tell me, as a business person, would you take $2 million as a loan just to jump on the plane to go and have a meeting? That makes sense, guy. It don't make sense. It don't add up. It'll be 1 + 1. You wouldn't do it. So why would you do it as a nation? I'm seeing pictures on Twitter all the time. Women in upper countries in Gambia in absolute poverty. Those women have science and they have maths and they have discovery and they have purpose and they have healing in them. Guess what? No one will ever discover it because they're in an environment that is designed to kill and destroy dreams. And they will die and go with all of those ideas that never got discovered. That's the reality. My mother died of cancer because they couldn't diagnose what she had on time. So if you see this passion is not artificial. This passion is real pain. If she was in England, she would have had a longer chance to live. She happened to be in the wrong country at the wrong time. She died when I was 10. That's the reality. We're all going through that pain. People dying because of silly shit. Because somebody wants to drive a Rolls Royce, bro. And a Pajero. There should be no Lexus and Mercedes-Benz driving in any government office, bro. It don't make any sense.
Someone mentioned that your story was about Westfield, something about Serekunda Market. I lost track of I lost track of what that was. But just a little bit into the comment because the comments are very important and they really make the show fun. We have Lingela says, but this is probably because the leaders will rather keep the people poor and uneducated. That's a good one right there.
Yeah, but I wanna say something to that quickly.
Okay.
You can go around Gambia and put anybody else, and you have the same results. You see, people think Yaya Jammeh was the problem. Yaya Jammeh was never a problem. Yaya Jammeh was the vessel to carry out the problem. Gambians are the problem. The problem is never external. The problem is always internal. Yaya Jammeh has never behaved any way different to any teacher that I've known, sadly to say. I can highlight traits and habits of Yaya Jammeh and bring it back right into my house. It's right there. I see it. Sun Papa, you don't diglo, they know everything. You don't question them. Because you don't tell them any ideas. Because they know better. You don't ask questions because you just don't ask questions. I see the same thing. People act so surprised. The environment creates the leader. The leader represents the environment. If you don't like Yaya Jammeh, that means you don't like yourself as a Gambian. And if you don't like yourself as a Gambian, that's okay. That means there's an opportunity to do what? To reflect. From reflections, you have the conversations. From the conversations, you now can create change, right? So I didn't really have a problem with the man. I had the problem with the culture that created the man. Because if I really study the culture that created the man, I realized the same culture created Jawara. The same culture created the guy we have now. They are the sons of the soil. They're not adopted. They're not imports. They didn't come to Banjul ports through the container. They grew up, they bled Gambian. They still do. We made them. If I switch a government today, Gambia, and bring another government, it's going to be the same thing. The question becomes, how do we create something different? Now, if we ask that question, then now we start thinking. Then we start having the conversations. How do we start creating something different? So I don't have time to do politics. I don't have time to switch governments for the sake of it. I told my lecturer this at university when I was doing my master's in leadership. I said, we do all of these fancy courses about economic development. I'm an economic political analyst. It's nice, it's fancy. There's no development without psychological development. The African has no understanding of its true purpose and what it can become. You can give it the biggest PhD and master's degree and nothing will ever change. The richest man in England, Sir Dyson, did not study anything about electrical engineering or design. It's about recognizing that you are able, you're enough. What does Gambian mean? What does Nika Olof sausage Jola? What does it mean? What will our music be? African, we like the music and the food. It goes deeper than that. What does it mean? It means we're able, we can create our own path, our own economic path. There are theories and there's examples of what the West has done, but we're realizing the West is even saying, hold on, we've made mistake years ago. We have to create something new. We need to create better environments and create better air and go against and fight against global warming. We're not even waking up and realizing, yeah, you know what, they've done so well, but they've made mistakes. But you know now what? We're going to do what they do well, do it better, and also make sure we don't make the same mistakes. We have a great opportunity, bro. But nobody's thinking it. We're just chilling. And if Lindani says things like this, people don't get it. It goes over their head. They think I'm being crazy.
True.
But we're dying, bro. We're still importing rice. We're still importing dueling. Our curriculum was designed by colonial masters. Even if it wasn't designed by them directly, it reflects it. It's still going on. Grade 12, we're all failing. Nobody's asking what's going on. Do we need to change the teaching method? Is there something we need to do about teaching? What's the mindset? Is it okay for students to ask questions? Nobody's doing that, bro. We're spending money to go to places we don't need to be spending money to go to. We don't have libraries in Gambia. I went to Gambia University in 2018. One of my friends took me to the university. I went to one of the politics class. I wanted to see what people were thinking. Because from young people, you really know where a country is heading. I went to the class. Mr. Essa, he's here. From a conversation, he's now at King's College. I met him. I told him about the scholarship. He's now at King's. Conversations. They create change, bro. Conversations. He's now here. I went to the class. Brilliant guy, intelligent guy. I looked at the building. Cobweb everywhere. No library. A university that has been around for how many years? More than a decade? Not a library. They have a college library, and I went in there. It was outdated. It was small. It was unwelcoming. But outside the university, people are driving Pajero. We're like little kids. It's hard to say, but that's the reality. So I'm like, okay, I'm in the classroom. Mr. Essa said, asked the question about debt. How much does Gambia owe as a country? And people didn't really answer the question. I didn't even know either. And he was saying, and he said it, and I said, but don't you think the reason why people don't know is because people can't see the impact of owing money on their own daily lives, how that increases cost. And when I said that, he said, oh, it's just zombies, but he didn't get it. I'm sure he gets it now. The reality is they don't create the dots. They don't connect that every single time Gambia borrows money, Gambia gets poorer. And they don't realize how they get poorer because the United States have been doing Ganassia. Instead of them asking, Gambia, no, they'll be saying, borom nari dan sor, and boga yoka price direct. Did it. You can price be some government money because they have too much money outside. Nobody's having that discussion because nobody's educating that. Nobody's sharing that information. So nobody's aware. We're just zombies. The class started laughing. I got angry. I said, you guys are politics students. You're supposed to be the thinkers of the nation. You're laughing. I said, look at your building. Are you paying for maintenance fee? Yes. Are you paying for library fee? Yes. Where's your library? No library. Where's your maintenance fee? The building is falling apart. No maintenance. Have you gone to your department and asked what's going on with your fees? No. But you're the degree students and you're the master students and you're studying politics. So really, what are you doing? I hope that day that's sunk in somebody's brain because I really wanted, I didn't blame them because if I was there, I'd be thinking the same way. I was getting them to understand that they have to start thinking and connecting with reality and not be in disillusion, bro. So when you ask me, am I happy I left Gambia the time I did, bro, I'm happy I did. And I love Gambia to bits. Kumaham, Anatir. They even call me Gambia. I love Gambia to bits because Gambia has incredible talent. The women are powerful. They need to be given the opportunity to express themselves and not just to be a figurehead. The young boys and the young men are powerful. They have talent. But somebody has to create the environment for them to discover themselves. We can't keep relying on people outside to be sending money for us to survive. We've got to do it on our own, bro.
Now, let me just let me say something about the sending money. It's fascinating that you have a brother, a sister, an uncle, a family member outside the country that is working 2-3 jobs, sends you a certain amount of allowance monthly, and that money is used for you to go to the best tailor and buy the best hair and go to the lit part, the litest part of town with that particular money that someone is hustling, instead of picturing yourself getting knowledge as how to sustain and not rely on this individual. And this vicious financial cycle has been going on for years.
Yeah. And that's why we have corruption and that's why we have people, government officials living beyond their means. The reason why that is happening is because we're not honest people. If you send money to people in Gambia, are you having a conversation with them to say, one, we have to be honest by giving them information that they might not have. If I was in Gambia, I probably wasn't thinking like that. I probably wouldn't be thinking like that. So am I giving somebody money and say, boy, use a baby, nga def liak nga muna def, temanga said, no si muna lifine. Right now, you have online calls. Most people have access to the internet. Let's say Serukunda part, for example, Upper Combo have access to the internet. The other course, Boomer is LinkedIn. The manga book LinkedIn, that dev course is for free. About business management, it's free. It's £10. Not like a fail. We have to give the resource, and we have to give the resource in a way that it becomes a resource, not a cause for problem or unsustainability. If you give the money, yes, you need to give the money because they are immediate needs and that needs to be met. But you have to give the money with purpose so the person can become empowered. Leadership is about making others become empowered, self-sufficient. That's what leadership is. How do you do that if you're sending money back home and all you do is just send the money? Send the money with something else. Send it with an information. Information transforms people. You can have 200. Let me tell you something. You can go to Gambia and give a family 200,000 pounds and they don't know what to do with it. You know that, right? After they
Sure.
buy their dueling and their malo and their immediate needs, they wouldn't know what to do with it. I've experienced it where I've had a bunch of money in my hand and I didn't know what to do with it. And I realized, oh shit, it's not been, my life is not, the problem is not the lack of money, it's the lack of understanding. Because even when I have the money, I don't know what to do with it. So that's what I'm saying. So people that are waiting to get married to have money, no, bro. Go and build yourself so when opportunity comes, you know how to use it. The hammer doesn't make you a carpenter. How you use the hammer is what makes you a carpenter. So go and find out on how you can become a carpenter. And when you get the hammer, you just become a nicer carpenter. That's it. It's that simple. When you send money to Gambia, bro, I was thinking about this, and I'm gonna do it. We'll speak about this behind this interview. I wanted to do a literacy sort of program and a leadership program where we are going to get women and men who are older or out of school to learn reading and learn certain basic things so they can expand on their knowledge. It's not to take them away from what they already know. It's just to give them a different perspective. That needs to be done. We have women that can use plants and herbs to do certain treatments and things. A beautiful thing, right? How can we get that information? How can we have it written on the book? So now we have the information and then we can stress test the information, use the information and build it and make life better. Think about it, bro. I went to Gambia. I said to one of my friends who's a doctor, do you guys actually experiment on like herbs and plants and stuff like that? Ah, boy, no. I said, but it
No,
makes sense. Yeah.
seriously, holistic. There's nothing holistic in Gambia. Herbal. They don't do herbal treatment because I think the idea of herbal is associated to marabu and
But that is the impact of imported religion. Because for religion to exist, let me tell you something. Somebody said to me, God is in you. For somebody to replace that God and put somebody else in there, they have to make you a different you. And not only make you a different you, they have to make sure that the old you or the you is tarnished, is destroyed, is belittled, is undermined. The only way somebody gets you to believe what they believe when it comes to religion is to destroy you. So when it comes to our herbs, the person that came and gave us Christianity or Islam told us, it's demonic. And then you embrace it because you're trying to embrace what they're giving you. You can't embrace what they're giving you without embracing the herbs, the garab, the satangka sudame, all of that stuff becomes dark. Right? Let me tell you, I did an experiment one time for myself, and I did this with a lot of people. When you close your eyes and you think about the devil, who do you see when you're looking at think of race?
you probably yeah.
You see us, bro.
Yeah.
When you see Jesus and you see prophets and you see anybody else, they look like everybody else. So if you're told when you die you want to go to heaven, it's common sense. Then why would you want to look like you and become you? Why would you want to discover yourself? You're not going to want to discover yourself. You want to discover somebody else so you can become that thing, so you can get to this destination that you've been promised. It's that simple, bro. The time we spend in school in Gambia, having Ari class and Islamic class and getting us to separate as Gambians, basically telling us we are not the same people. When you're getting two groups of people to connect with something that's the most precious to them and you separate them, you're basically telling them there's something really important in your groups. And that important thing for you both is very different. And that's the most powerful way you can create division or create war. We do it every day in school and nobody's asking questions. Why? They can do that at home. They do it on Friday and Sunday. In school, we should be coming together and understand why are we Gambians. I went to America, my niece, she was like 5. She went to school. I went to a graduation and she was singing, America great, America. And I'm like, what? I was like, that's why these Americans love their country, bro. Because from the age of 3, she's been told America is great. In Gambia, from the age of 3, you've been told you need to get the hell out of here. So we basically lost a sense of us. If I go to my father and say, give me Gambia, and he's going to give me Christianity, he can't give me anything further than that. Anything before that is erased, is gone. So really and truly, am I living as a Gambian though? Am I living in the reflections of somebody else, but just tagged with a price tag saying Gambia? If I come to you and say, boy, you're a Muslim, go, okay, fine. But can you tell me you're such a son? How do you do things? How do you think? How do you create? You can't tell me anything. You're gonna go back and give me Islam, bro. Because that's what you know. Because everything before that is being destroyed. But tell me what race or group of people on this planet have become superior by adapting what others are. Because adaptation never makes you become the truest self. Studying other people is to reflect on yourself, to find your truest self. It's not for you to clone. You don't become who you are by cloning. So we're just cloning. Clone every day, just clone. And bro, but you can't even have this discussion in Gambia, because if you have it, people think Europe or Gambia, you can't even have it. So when I'm in Gambia, guess what? I'm just there. I don't even go out. I just relax and enjoy the nice weather, because I know I couldn't have the discussion, and it's sad, but that's the reality. Right? So it's the same thing, bro. How are we gonna find us? How are we gonna develop physically or develop good roads, good hospitals, schools that reflect our identity and our culture, when fundamentally our psychic is not in the right place? I want to know how. I'm just genuinely, I don't know. I genuinely want to know how.
Someone mentioned, Linge is talking about the blur lines, or the blurred lines between culture and religion, which I would say that the higher percentage of religion overshadows culture, and with the mindset that religion comes with, it comes to kill and subdue every power
Every part
whatsoever
of you, everything before you, it tries to destroy it.
Yeah. And I saw in Ghana, I was reading on the news how, they basically Ghana and the Ghanaian government are working extremely hard to turn things around, to basically just harness that authenticity that they have, from changing probably the school curriculum. I saw the tweet about them going back to even wearing just the African, what I'm saying, like the walks to school, and not just, in terms of just looking at how the mindset could be changed to praising and patronizing the citizens, the country, the country, putting country first before anything else. And if we begin to think in that light, it's certainly going to take us far. There's a question right here from Jessica. She says, I have a question. Do we need permission from the government to develop the country as private citizens?
You don't need permission from the government to develop the country, because development starts from self. That's what leadership is. It starts from you. You see, leadership you don't need to be giving a position or a title or power. The power is already inside of you. Use it. And that's your small space. What conversations are you having with your friends? What conversation are you having with your family members? Let me tell you something. To be fair with you, if I want to do something in my local borough here, I have to go to the council. I have to speak to the MP. I have to speak to so many people. You know why? Because so many people in power are so invested in what is happening. In Gambia, nobody gives a shit. You can go to a village right now. You can go to Gunjur, and you can start doing things and bringing things and putting things together. The reality is, central government don't even know you're doing it. They're not aware. They're not aware, bro. How will we help? We don't know what's going on. Information blackout. We don't know what's going on. The power starts with you. You have it. Go and build a little library in Gunjur. This is how you say what's saying. Ask them questions. You don't need to impose. Ask them questions. You're farming this way. Why? Is there a better way you can do it? They will think it. This brain is a computer. It's designed to give answers. You channel it, you put the right key in, it will find the answer. They will find the answer. It's that simple.
I'm going to ask this real quick, and I think I'm certainly going to conclude. This someone's asking whether someone's asking David. I've seen this like almost 3 times right now. Whether does he have a brother? I'm asking for a friend.
I don't I have a younger brother, but my younger brother, I am me. I can't speak for him. He's a lovely guy, great guy. I believe he has a girlfriend as well. But I guess the reason why you're asking
Yes.
is because you see something that you're probably inspired by. The reality is that there are many people like me, and the more you become what you aspire to and what inspires you, the more you find that thing. And there are many people out there, and these discussions, bro, you're doing an amazing job for having these platforms. These discussions need to be had. We need to keep having these discussions because it questions and it challenges people. It makes them reflect within. Long story answer, long answer short, cutting it short or whatever. I don't have somebody I can hook you up with.
I really appreciate the time. There's a comment. One reality is that it's hard for anyone outside the country to make connections for the government because the people in government ministries make it nearly impossible to implement. That's very true. That's like a conversation for like another day. Mr. Lindani Njie, I appreciate the time. I admire and consistently stayed thrilled by how fascinating you come up with amazing ideas and just the passion that comes with your work and the words that you put out as well. I really appreciate this, and I really say thank you for the time. People want me to continue. I have to go watch. I mean, I need to go make family because
It's Valentine's.
So it keeps banging in the back of the door. I really want to say I'm elated. I'm really gracious for just.
And I want to say this, bro. You've inspired me from a long time. I see you in Gambia, and even though you were in Gambia, you pushed yourself. You built relationships. You embraced smiling and laughing. That was seen as weak, but you embraced it. You extended that to the US. You've been to the US, I don't know how long. You got there, you didn't hang around, you didn't wait. You stayed hungry, you stayed consistent. And that's what it's about, bro. That's what leadership is, period. So I want to say thank you to you for having me and for having this platform and for continuing to inspire, because whatever conversation you have here becomes a curriculum in people's minds.
True. I want to say just go and bribe our wife for us. Tell her we're sorry for taking you away on Lover's Day to put down to just poke people's mind, because I think that's what we've done, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing. We'll certainly get together in the DM to discuss on other projects and how we could.
We have to.
How we could work on something on a broader scale, and I know there's certainly a lot of people that will want to be part of whatever work, whatever stew we're certainly going to be cooking, because like I said, it's potent. that's my new
potent.
It's potent. That's the new word. That's the new word right there. Guys, you can follow him on all his his digital platforms as Lindani Njie, like exactly like you have right there on the top. Or you could go to his website as well as www.lindaninjie.com.
No, they have to go I am Lindani. I just use I am Lindani. They'll find me. I
Okay,
copied
so
you. I
just,
saw I am Danny Constant. I said it would look good with mine, so I copied you. I am Lindani. You'll find me.
so I am Lindani as well on all his digital platforms. And watch out on the 8th of March. The 8th of March, there is there's the Voices of Victory, that you know, the album. Someone was asking whether he's an artist. No, he like I said, he is breaking that social norm, that social barrier of being put into a box, into a cage. So you necessarily don't have to be a musical recording artist to have an album. And I love the approach that you're giving this. I certainly I applaud you for that though. But Portent is out now. It's on his Instagram. It's equally on you mentioned it's on
YouTube.
YouTube then.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay. I appreciate you. Okay, let me go now before it's either the house comes down or I
Yeah,
leave the
go do
house.
your thing, bro. Love, bro. I appreciate you, bro. We'll talk, man. I appreciate everybody that's here as well.
Thank you so much. Happy Valentine's to you, and happy Valentine's to everyone else that did get the chance to watch this. We say thank you so much for allowing us to stimulate your mind.
Nice one, bro. Have a good one, bro. My regards to the missus. Tell her the article is coming. I'm working on it. I need to text. I'll email her.
Okay. Appreciate that. You have a good one. I say.
Take care, bro. Peace, man.